Hello campers, Dr. Dickey here. Alright, just wanted to give you the latest update on the solar array, the new solar array that's going in. That's the front. It's about 4 feet off the ground. I haven't got the concrete into it yet. I have to make up 2 50-pound bags of concrete to put that in. Then there'll be another one just like it, but 34 inches taller, about 60 inches back, which will give me a 30-degree angle to the sun, and that with struts that I'll put on it will be able to support the solar panels. I have these 2 panels that go to my lead acid batteries, plus the 2 panels I took off that are back there leaning up against something. I'm going to use those to try to shade the shed. I'm going to put 2 10-foot poles, one near the front corner of the shed, one in the back, that's going to shade the roof of the shed, because yesterday it was about 70 degrees Fahrenheit and it was about 89 degrees Fahrenheit inside the shed. That is way, way, way too hot, because the batteries can go up to about 105 degrees before they begin to have some degradation happening. So I just can't afford to let it go that hot. So I'm going to put obviously a big fan in there. There's going to be a fan in the shed, and there's going to be a fan in the cabinet where the batteries and electronics are going to go, because the inverter and the solar charge controller and that stuff are going to make a lot of heat as well. So I'll vent that out to the back because the back stays in shade. But I definitely have to shade that roof some to knock down the heat. Fortunately, the west side of the shed roof is completely shaded by my neighbor's bamboo, which I wasn't so thrilled about before, but now I love it. And it also shades the shed's roof pretty much entirely by the time it gets to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So in the hottest part of the day, which is usually around 3, the shed is shaded, and that helps, but I need to get it shaded from like 11 o'clock in the morning, that's what it is right now, till about, 1:30 or 1 or 2 in the afternoon. Well, this is 50 pounds of concrete. My favorite concrete shovel broke. Snapped off. It's also my favorite shovel for digging holes like this, because it's really get down there. My favorite shovel for digging places for, what am I trying to think of? Sprinkler systems. So I'm going to have to get a new handle. That's my favorite shovel. A lot of things. Concrete in there. And then I'm going to make up another one. Make up another. Sure, yeah.
It would look good if it was straight.
Huh?
It would look good if it's straight.
I have it straight. It's level.
Yeah. Who's over there?
Because the water's over there.
Yeah. I don't want to go over fucking
My favorite mixing shovel broke.
Yeah, of course it did. I can give you a Willie method if you want one.
What?
I'll give you a Willie method if you want it. A Willie method.
Oh, what's that?
He just dumps everything, he puts a little bit of water in, dumps the bag in.
Yeah, right. You can do that. I don't care whether it's wet enough or too wet or dry enough or whatever. I just, dump it in there. But yeah, you can just put the dry bag in there and wait for it to rain.
Just throw the hose on it, just squirt.
Works too.
Yeah, he does that. And he's He's got a good back still.
It works. Okay, so I'm putting up the Home Depot Super Strut 12 gauge. These are 12 gauge, 10-foot Super Struts. And I'm going to be 4 of them going north to south. And then I've got 10 pieces. I probably won't use all 10, maybe just 5 or 6 pieces of the 14 gauge, which is thinner Super Strut that's going to go east to west to form the pattern for the solar panels to go on. Solar panels will go longwise north to south. Of course, I'm dressed in my grubbiest clothes to do this. As you can see, I've got 4 of the 6 panels of my new solar array up there. These are 350 watt panels. Each one is 24 volts. I'm going to do 2 in series, 3 in parallel. So it's going to be a 48 volt system and 2 kilowatts that's going to go into a solar shed. Speaking of a solar shed, if you look behind the solar panel, behind the ladder over there, right in here, you can see a new shed. That new shed I'm putting together, my neighbor gave me. He was getting rid of it, so I took it from him, and I'm going to put it together, and that's where I hope to put the solar shed, the solar charge controllers and the battery and everything in that shed, so I can vent that one. It's a little bit smaller. It'll be a little bit better shaded there. I'm going to plant a plant in front of it that'll hopefully shade it a little bit better, and try and put some solar panels up on the roof to charge up a battery that will run the fan that'll cool it down. So each one of these panels are 40 pounds, not light. So at my age, it's a struggle to get them up there. But I've got 4 up so far, only 2 more to go. I'll show you how they go up, how I go about doing it at least. I've got my grubby clothes on again because I'm digging around in the dirt and whatnot. I can't wire this in, unfortunately, this weekend or today because a little problem with Renogy shipping my Midnight Solar combiner box that I'm going to use to hook everything up, all the solar panels up together before I run them into the shed. So hopefully I'm going to get that this Friday. It's Wednesday today, so I'll get it Friday. And then I'll show you me wiring it up. That'll be doing some of the wiring setup and maybe the panel setup inside the shed. I'll show you those videos. That'll be the next one after this. So let me get the next 2 panels up. It looks like I'm struggling a little. It's because I am. it is an interesting and annoying feature of these lockdowns I have. I'll show you why it's so ingenious and such a pain. So I wanted to show you the genius and the aggravation of these clips. I tried to show you outside, but it didn't come out so well. So you can see this is what gets mounted onto the 14 gauge struts, and you can see the lines in there where this piece that actually holds it down slides in, and that's an ingenious way, and then you can lock it down. I had to mill off a foot that was on here because of the way it's normally used. That foot keeps it the tilt that locks it down, but it wouldn't work for what I had. I wouldn't be able to lock it down as well that way. So this is the way I used it. So why is this so? It's ingenious that you can slide it in and you can do all kinds of different heights with it. As you can see, I'm using the lowest one. That's ingenious. The problem with it is that it slides in there so easy, it slides out so easy, that while you're trying to do things, because your solar panels aren't perfectly flat, that keeps sliding out. So if I ever have to take those solar panels down, I'm going to glue all of those pieces in so that they don't come out easily. This is the shed that my next door neighbor gave me. The roof was bent up, but I managed to get it straight enough that it seems to hold and is watertight. So I'll show you. I've got the cabinet in there. I'm going to put 2 solar panels up on the roof of this shed. At least that's the plan. Start maybe working on that today, getting it set up. And I'll show you, I put 2 fans into the cabinet. The cabinet is now in this shed. All right, there's not a lot of light in here, but you can see that I've put in 2 fans, and I'm not going to show you too close of a setup of those fans that have been put into the cabinet here, and that's because the job was really bad. It was poorly done by me, mainly because I figured out that I put this cabinet into the shed when the roof was off. I can't get it out now without taking the roof off. There's no way to tilt it to get it to go out without removing the roof, and I'm not going to remove the roof because that center beam was so bent up and I had such a hard time getting it straightened out, and I got the roof on. I'm not taking it off again because it is hard as heck to get put back on, and so it is what it is. But I had to work with cutting those holes in the roof of the cabinet over my head in here, and I couldn't tilt it over, so I couldn't use any tools to do it. I had to do it by hand with a hacksaw blade, and it came out really bad. But they're in there, and they should work fine the way they are. I can't, of course, wire them up and everything until I get the battery in here and get everything else put in here. Also, as long as I'm here, I might as well show you that I have wired up the solar panels. The panels are 2 in series, 3 in parallel. I've run all the wires over, and they go down to my combiner box. I'm just waiting. That's a Midnight Solar combiner box. I'm just waiting for one more of the nylon protectors that go in through the knockout holes so that I can put in my positives and my negatives, combine them all into one, and then that's going to be run down and over to the shed. And I've got fuses that go in there. 15 amp fuses, 1 for each one of the series. That's about it for this week. I have held off on welding in the wires and fuses to my packs, getting the packs actually put together, because I had put in some donated money to a group that was making a nano spot welder, and that is supposed to be coming this week. So if it comes this week, this weekend, I hope to start welding those packs up and getting my batteries ready to put in here. And that's the plan. Then I can mock out. I also should be getting my wires so I can mock up the layout, and I'll show you that in the next video. Mock up the layout of my solar charge controller, inverter, breakers, and fuses and everything. I'll do that along with the wiring up of my combiner box in the next video. And I should get those wires this week. So should be another video in a week or two. My work is starting to wrap up and get a little bit lighter over the summer, so I should be able to do a little bit more. And I'm trying to get this done again before June, and right now it's getting late in March. By June, because that's hurricane season, and obviously this is for tropical storms. We hardly ever get a hurricane where I am, even though I'm only a few blocks from the ocean. We're in a perfect position to avoid getting hurricanes, but we sometimes get them passed by close enough that we get tropical storms, and that is enough to knock the power out for a couple of days. So I want to be able to have power in those circumstances, even though I would have to take down all my solar panels and take down everything and hopefully weather the storm, and hopefully the shed would weather the storm, which is somewhat debatable, but we're hoping. It's in a very sheltered location in my yard. All right, so that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll have another video out in a couple of weeks.